For indoor farming, picking your crops very carefully, okay? Because finally, besides the hype, you also need to make money, okay? Picking your location very carefully. These are two main things I would like. Not everything that you can grow, you can sell, and not everything you can sell, you can make money from it. And with all due respect, finally, you need to make money because you need to feed yourself, your family, and sometimes also get money to your investors. So be very picky about what you do, and time is on your side.
So Dima Chernobilsky, co-founder and CEO of GrowDirector, thank you so much for joining me on the Vertical Farming Podcast.
Hey, Harry, thank you very much for having me. Your
I know.
title is much more wider. You're co-founder of so many things. I wouldn't pretend that I remember even half of them.
Yeah, I think that's what happens when you're an entrepreneur. You start wearing a lot of hats. I started podcasting in 2014 with my first show. So that's how I was introduced. And then I started a podcast production agency in 2015. So that's how we produce the shows that we create. And then Vertical Farming Podcast 2020. So that's been a crazy ride and just opened up so many doors. Now my partnership with Sepper Ashard of iGrow News. We have the AgTech Media Group, and we're doing a lot of interesting things there. So you never know where the path is going to take you. And that's probably what we're going to find out in our conversation with you today as well.
No, no.
Where's home for you?
For me, it's Israel.
Okay. Are you born and raised there?
No, I was born in a tough question. Well, I was born like in USSR, which doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
For a while, I was thinking I was born in Ukraine, but
Okay.
then Russia has its was Crimea, took over the Ukraine.
Okay.
So apparently now I was born in Russia, I
Hmm.
guess. Let's see for how long.
Yeah. Things are changing, I feel like every day. So lots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And 80s and 90s was very good decades if you compare to the last one.
Yeah, that's true. I think
And it didn't even started to kick in
no, not at
properly.
all.
We don't know.
So prior to your work in indoor farming and CEA and everything you're doing in this space now, what were you, without going through the entire CV, I'm just curious in terms of your a bit of your background prior to entering this space.
My background is diverse as my geographics. So I started as a CFO of a real estate company in Middle East, then for a different company in East Europe. Uh, then I became business development in Africa
Hmm.
for 5 years. And actually in Africa, I got the bug of agriculture. I don't know why. Maybe I had too much free time on my hand, or I just something like someone was curious. And I was of agriculture is very easy. Like you just throw seeds, spit on it a few times, and it will grow for sure.
Sure.
And I failed the first time, second time, and third time, and who knows how many other times. And then like started to grow something. And then I encountered it was like a decade ago, even more. And then I understood how many problems there is.
Yeah.
And I actually went to hydroponics because I don't know why it seems like more difficult. I don't know why, but it brought me there. And hydroponics is much more difficult than just soil. And I dreamt about the product, not even the product, like a few generations before that we have about the product that we started. And this time, a friend of mine for a long time just also started the company and just started talking, said, look, I have such idea. And I was very eager to join this. And 10 years after and 4 generations later, I'm here showing you what we achieved so far.
What was it about your time in Africa that really piqued your interest in agriculture? You know, what did you see there, or what was like the aha moment for you?
I'm not sure it was about Africa. It's maybe just like timing. So I
Hmm.
wouldn't say it's something for Africa, but I had a big house and some free time on my hand. But no, yeah, actually, maybe it started from Africa. Like I have a driver and he was a farmer. And I was asking him, like, apparently now it seems like stupid question. Back then, it's sort of like smart question.
Yeah.
And somehow, like things, one thing after another, it's like became more and more interesting. And I started and said, well, maybe I will do something by myself. And as I told you, it seems to be much easier than it is.
So talk a little bit about the origin story for a Grow Director, because I'm wondering, you probably had a lot of ideas. You've been in a lot of different businesses. You've run, some companies before. What was it that was driving you to feel like this was going to be your next big idea and your next
Well,
big
our first generation, it was 2016. This when we unveiled our first generation. It was huge cannabis hype. And like every entrepreneur, so 2-3 months, you're going to be billionaires. And of course, we failed the first time. Then we developed a second generation for more professional cannabis growers. It went quite well, but it was always 2020, and cannabis wasn't like the best time for cannabis. And then we had a genius idea. So it's like we are missing some very tiny market called agriculture.
Yeah, very tiny.
Very tiny, especially with the cannabis home growers compared to
Yeah.
cannabis. And once we figure out these things went really well, we developed a third generation. It's very cool, like wireless, modular, scalable device. It's complete horticultural automation, and it became very good. And now we unveiling in Green Tech next week our fourth generation device. I would say it's like very cool device. One of the coolest things about it's like it's real investment in your greenhouse future. We call it like future proof scalability.
Okay.
Like you get flexible and easy to scale up device. You always can get scale up your capabilities, features, and hardware without much investment. Super scalable, like one time you buy it and scale by itself, especially get all the new features and AI capabilities. It's very cool. Second thing I would say, it's like a wireless network architecture, which means you have like reliable wireless network and you can even work without internet. It
Okay.
works very seamlessly, no matter what. Even when internet is down, it's still working, and we got a patent for this. Like our modules can talk to each other even without internet. The next thing I would say, very cool thing, it's super adaptive to any sort of projects, like universal adaptivity. Like it can be for like a very tiny project, let's say like 5,000 square feet, to a huge projects. Okay. And everything in one device. Like you can grow with us.
Mm-hmm.
As you grow, we also grow with you. And you also like under one system, you don't need to think too much. And another thing I would say, like it's effortless remote automation.
Okay.
Like if you have, let's say, a greenhouse, and especially for the old greenhouse, which is not built for automation, and one of our sweet spot is there as well. Now you have dispersed equipment. Let's say this fan is here, another fan is there. It can be like huge spaces, and you don't want to wire things, and you don't want to too much investment in it. So here we're actually coming with our wireless modules. You can put them anywhere that you want in a greenhouse, and all of your equipment like fans, irrigation, and so on, will work under one system without investing huge sums. So this is one of the cool things. And of course, the AI. Now here I can talk a lot.
Yeah. So we'll get into the AI definitely. So I'm curious for people that are watching or listening who are not familiar with Grow Director, what are the markets that you serve and how would you describe the services that you offer?
Our markets are all over the world. We have clients from North America to Europe to Asia, you name it. We do CA now, exclusively CA, because this is where we can show our most of capabilities. Like in open field, we still cannot call for rain, unfortunately, sun. But in the greenhouse, we are the god. Okay, we control all of your equipment automatically. Our AI can even predict problems which is coming into greenhouse and change the rules with your permission. Okay, we can send you a notification if you want to change the rules. Thus, to stress the plants as minimal as possible. So essentially, you have a greenhouse. We are coming. We are connected to all of your equipment, let's say fence, irrigation, and so on, so on, so on. We disperse our sensors in your greenhouse. And from this on, we are your eyes and hands. Okay. You can create any kind of conditions that you want the greenhouse. You can get advice from our system, how is the best to recreate some kind of conditions or how to keep the perfect environment for your plants. We are coming here to help the growers and to take some repetitive tasks from him, things which people are forgetting. So are very keen into decreasing his stress level, I would say.
Yeah.
With all the modesty, we are good in this.
Yeah.
Clearly, this is what we are thinking. And even some of our clients are telling us this.
So, Dima, I'm curious about what the experience you've had and having been doing this for a while. What are some of the challenges that you see greenhouses and indoor farms facing? And, and what were the challenges before they started working with you? And then obviously they found your solution. And what were some of the problems they were able to fix?
Well, problem is the same, it's just coming with different forms. Now, the problem is not enough control and spending too much. It's both of them. Not enough control and spending too much time on controlling things.
Yeah.
It's the same problem, but different approaches.
Yeah.
This number one. Number two, the scalability. Now, especially in the old greenhouses. I will give you some examples of what we are doing for our clients. Now, let's say somebody is new to automation. You're not sure about automation, you know how to work with it, and so on. So we can automate only, let's say, a certain part of a greenhouse. Let's say 1/3 of your greenhouse, or let's say only fans, only water, and so on, so on, so on. Now, and after a person automating it and it sees that it's work as good as we are telling him, okay, it's very easy for him to scale up and to automate the whole greenhouse, and it will cost you the same. Either day one, you automate your whole greenhouse, or you're doing like, let's say, month by month, quarter by quarter. Finally, it will cost you the same, but it decreases your stress level financially and emotionally. Because look, let's be honest, new things are hard, okay? And new also, like, we are a decade-old company, but still, like, our product is very innovative. And it puts some people down because of this, because look, something new I never use, who knows? Also, one of our pluses, it's very easy to use, working very hard for people to use. When we had like our first generation, we were on cannabis space. So we made our QA smoke a lot of weed. And even after this, he gets what there is on the tablet, then our interface as well. Now we are more
That's when the good
mature.
ideas come.
Yeah. Now we are more mature and serious people.
Yeah.
So we're taking very old growers, like I'm talking about 8 years old growers, and give them our system. And if they understand everything, then we did our job fine. So it's very important for us to have easy of use and be support, because even the easiest thing there is, support is priceless. We have very good and professional support, including agronomic advices, as well as AI. One of the AI features we have, it's called AI support. It's the only entity in the world who actually read our whole manual. Even I am the one who wrote it, but who remembers everything there is. And in human manner, with like human typing any questions, you can ask any question, how to create the rule, how to collect everything. And it will be with you 24/7, explain to you very easily. Like, it's real AI. You can ask really stupid questions and still it will be patient with you, unlike us humans.
We're seeing that a lot. I think that the term that people are using now for this AI, especially with websites, is vibe coding. So it's this concept of just being able to have a conversation. I've noticed it in some of the production tools we use. There's a service called Descript. It's a video editing tool, but they've given you a command line prompt now that says, what do you want to do? And you say, I want to remove the ums and the ahs from this video, and I want to make it a tighter edit. And it says, okay, thinking, and it's going to do that. So speaking to what you were just saying, it feels like, I think I keep talking about AI in each one of these conversations, and the progress is just exponentially so fast.
Amazing.
Every day you
amazing.
look, it's just changing so much.
I was a big fan of ChatGPT, but like 2 weeks ago, Google just unveiled their new Gemini. And sorry, ChatGPT, but for now, I switched to Gemini.
Yeah.
And it's a hard one because like every week, one of those guys, Gemini, OpenX, and you name it, they just getting better and better.
Yeah.
It's take you a few months just to understand it's better. By the time you understand somebody else was better. But look, things are crazy and we are monitoring we are very focused on it. We do believe this future.
Yeah.
One of the things, actually, this is last one that we are unveiling this month. It's called a summary. So actually what we do, because we are in eyes and hands of the grower, so we know everything what's happening in the greenhouse. We know how much everything works, what's the temperature, humidity, you name it.
Yeah.
So we analyze all of this, and then our AI send you a weekly report with the stars. We have like a 10 stars rating, you know how good your greenhouse, and still, okay, this your plans for too stress. So we see that next week you need to do ABC. We see that you have like a certain rules which will like work, let's say, and your temperature is jumping. So we think if you like tweak your rule a little bit, you can save X amount of energy and have the same perfect environment. And such insights, which frankly only AI. Look, what we did, I have like very professional agronomist. I gave him all this data. It took him probably a week to get even worse summary. I did like a couple of minutes. And we were always checking what he's doing with our people. We have like a professional team of agronomists who actually knows what they're doing for a change. And we are checking what AI summary, and they admit that it's better than them. Maybe not to me, but between themselves. Everybody need a job, but they admit that it's better than them. And this like our new feature, which we are giving to our customers, like real AI insight in your specific greenhouse, in your specific plant, in your specific data, not something general. I think it's very cool.
So how do you think about the pace of AI and when to implement it in the solutions? Is it something that you're feeling you need to be more proactive with, or are you being asked by your clients for easier ways to see what's going on in their environments?
First of all, pace is crazy. As I told you, just crazy. I don't have any other word for this. Number one, we are proactive because we're very imaginative people. We have a lot of dreams and hopes for our product. And not everything is possible. Let's say we have like a roadmap for like 5 years ahead, which we created about a year and a half ago. And we just put there some crazy ideas, which we are laughing at each other because like, you're crazy. It's will never look, okay, let's hire another like 50 engineers. Maybe like in 5 years, they will do it. We're like laughing at ourselves. And now AI and this roadmap becomes a reality. Okay. It's easier and easier to create it. Like what I just told you about a summary. Look, I literally tell you, my agronomist is talking also all week. Look, you have like, say, like you have like 20 sensors. Each sensor gives you a data point. One, it's 5 minutes. And then you have all the equipment. Like it's great. Took him a week just to understand. And I do it like in a snap and give you a real insight. This is very cool. This number one. Number two, which we have like for a while, it's called agronomist, which means same thing. Like you can ask like any agronomic question, like in real human questions, stupid questions, you name it. It will give you an answer. This number one. And it also has an image recognition. You can snap a picture and give you what's the problem and the solution. And all of these people getting like we don't charge a monthly payment, it's one-time payment for the product. This is our strategy. So all of these AI features are people enjoying for free. And we are adding more and more features. I wouldn't say every day, but at least let's say or once a month we're adding new features. And people enjoying it. So you can just imagine, okay, you have automation system. Like have an automation system. We also do like sensors and automate and devices and so on and so on. And then from this automation system, you have an agronomist. You can actually discuss with him any agronomic topic. You can send a picture of your particular greenhouse, not some theoretical. And we know what happened in your greenhouse. So we can give you much more insight. We not give you like general question. Okay, when you're seeing that lettuce should be grown in X and X conditions, it is tailor-made for your specific conditions. Some conditions are hard, some conditions are better, some conditions are worse, but for your specific conditions. So, and people enjoying this, and I think it's very cool, to be honest.
It sounds very cool, definitely. And as with all AI, you know, products and services that we're seeing now, they're infinitely patient. They never get annoyed, and they always feel like they want to support you and answer your question and help you out. So it's interesting, how people are getting more and more used to it because they're seeing it across everything because they meet AI maybe with ChatGPT, and now, it's not as a strange jump, as it was with technology in the past, because especially with growers who've been doing this, like you said, for decades, they may have already been playing with other AI tools. So now we're seeing it in so many different industries that it's just becoming common for people to use these tools.
I think, yeah, same, but sometimes, let's be honest, we are being annoyed by AI from like sometimes it still not
Hallucinations.
perfect. Some, yeah, it use some stupid question that I understand you,
Yeah.
but still, like it's getting better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every freaking day it's getting better. And just
So,
better and better.
yeah.
And nobody can imagine what's going to be in 5 years. Like nobody.
No. Or even next year. It's moving so fast.
Even next year.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
I was blown away what was like Google and Google, like what was I think 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. And one of the cool features, I will tell you what I'm using. I have Gemini, but Gemini can see your telephone, your desktop.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes like you have like some new software like Figma or something that you don't like professional. I just take it, okay, and it see my screen and say, okay, what do I do? And it's actually called put
Wow.
click here, click here, click here. On even my mobile device, I have some software that I download which is buggy. I just show the screen of my mobile device. Okay, I have this problem. Go here, go here, go here. Okay, click here, here.
Yeah.
It's actually it's so super cool.
Yeah.
This thing that we should do, which I'm spending with agronomists, same thing. Okay, you're asking per question. Okay, do A, B, C, you will get like D. Like we're still not Google, but we're trying to make.
Yeah. No, I mean, it sounds like you're making a lot of progress. I'm curious, Dima, because you've had experience with vertical farms as well, and I know a lot of the work that you do is in greenhouses. How would you describe, the different environments and what you've seen from your experience, or the challenges of operating in a pure indoor farm, LED lights, vertical farm, and versus what you see and what's possible in the greenhouse with your tech?
Well, first of all, like economic wise, it's very hard to make money. But I must say proudly that we have vertical farms that actually makes money. They actually in Alaska with a couple like container farms, and we made them. It was very hard for them like to make automation. They needed to be wireless and scalable and smart. And they found us. Don't remember how, but they found us, and we actually gave them this for a very reasonable price. They managed to do like complete automation, and then like in remote areas, they don't have access, like they don't have physical access to these farms. And with us, you can do everything remotely. You can get data, you can get alerts. Let's say if something gets wrong, you get alerts. Or if something like some threshold, you reach some threshold, you can get alerts, anything you want. And this is what we help to do to those guys. This about this. We also have vertical farms in Canada, also not the easiest part of the world to grow. And in vertical, it's makes sense for certain crops to be vertical. Same thing, they had issue with scalability and price. Look, I don't want to name my competitors, but like there's some big guys in the industry, and just to say hello is like $10,000.
Yeah.
No, literally.
That's an expensive hello.
Yeah. And we do complete automation like for container farmers. Depends, 1,000, 2,000, $3,000. Depends what you need and what the levels that you want. So it's a significant difference. Plus, we actually give him a very good customer service, and our technicians are also agronomists. So besides telling you where to click, he also can tell you where to plant. So it's like 2 in 1, and it's very cool. People are really enjoying it. And I also think it's a smart thing because, like, if you just put technical people and they don't know what to do and why do you need certain things, won't help much. But when you take agronomists and they teach them about technical and then they talk to people, it's a different world. And people also very happy about this, like they happy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in Europe, we saw some vertical farms, which, well, for me, they're a bit strange because they're like in perfect environmental conditions to grow outside, and then they so such expensive things and grow lettuce. Well, some of them are not with us anymore.
Yeah, the model doesn't seem to work there.
Yeah, so you need to be smarter. Now we work on the same thing in Middle East, where
Yeah.
conditions are very tough.
Extreme.
And then
Yeah.
it's becoming to make more sense. Once again, I must, to be honest, for certain crops, okay, for
Yeah.
certain crops,
Yeah.
it makes sense. Look, I guess when, let's say, things will become more efficient energy-wise, let's say LED
Yeah.
lights, especially HVACs and so on, more
Yeah.
efficiently about energy-wise. Plus, it will be more robotization about these things, like no humans.
Hmm.
It will start to make sense. I don't know. I think we're talking about 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. Well, with the pace that everything's moving at, when you put the combination of
Yeah.
the AI together with the robots, then you'll start to see something probably really interesting as well.
No, you cannot know. Yeah, it can be much better.
Yeah.
Look, if Musk, as he promised, will unveil his robots in 25, 26,
Yeah.
so let's say by 27, 28, it will be like humanoid robot, which you just need to show them what to do, and that will
Yeah.
cost you the price of the car.
Yeah.
Everything will be super different. Everything
Absolutely.
will be super
Absolutely.
different.
I saw that you were doing a orchid farm in Vietnam as well.
We also work in Vietnam. Well, we started doing that. Now they need more financing, so we're looking for more financing.
Yeah.
Yes, but we also work in Asia. In Vietnam, they are very crazy about orchids. It costs like crazy amounts, like $10, $20, $30 for a plant.
Mm-hmm.
It's not husband's idea. No, they're really complaining. It's not our idea.
Yeah.
It's the wife's idea that we need to buy. And
Yeah.
then greenhouses that make sense to grow it. So we're now cooperating with a few companies to automate the greenhouse for orchids because it very
Yeah.
makes sense there.
So we talked about the upcoming green tech. When you think about these conferences, you know, what's success for you? Because, I was recently at Indoor AgCon as well recently, and you see how much work people are putting into these booths and how much they're trying to develop these relationships. But I'm curious, as a CEO and having been to many of these conferences, how you think about it strategically, if you go in with a plan, and what are your objectives when at these types of events? Because they're big events for this industry.
Green tech is huge. And the way I got to green tech actually will be a perfect way for me to end the green tech. So a couple months ago, an indoor account, also I knew a company called Harvest Today,
We've had Rick on; he's a great guy. Yeah.
right? And we knew each other for a couple of years, but somehow last indoor account we clicked. And he started using our product for his clients and distributing it. And he invited me to be part of his booth in Green Tech.
That's right.
So if I would find a couple more rigs on Green Tech, this will be for me a huge success. I'm very happy to work with Rick. He's a very cool guy and he's a very cool product.
Yeah.
And he just lively person, like,
Sure.
lively, likable person.
Yeah.
So I wish I had more people like this on my
Yeah.
with me.
I think it's great to meet people in this industry, and I've got to meet Rick as well. We've had him on the show a couple of times,
Oh, really?
and you get to have a different feel also when you're in person. That's why I love the conferences. And I think when you meet someone who's got a great personality, believes wholeheartedly, very passionately about the industry and about his product, and so he's got that energy and enthusiasm. And I think you need that to ride the waves, right? To ride the ups and the downs of what's been happening in vertical farming and CEA. So I think every time people mention him, they talk about his energy and the fact that he's always looking for conversations and then looking to make partnerships and working with people too, which I think is really needed.
Yeah. Oh, cool guy.
So as you think about the upcoming green tech and the things that you have on your plate, I'm curious, how big is the Grow Director team?
We have 20 people on our team,
Okay.
maybe 22.
And how would you describe your leadership style?
I'm learning. I'm making a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to trust people. Sometimes it
Mm.
works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm just making a lot of mistakes. I'm trying to learn as fast as possible. In the past, my investors did pay a lot of money for my mistakes. Hopefully,
Yeah.
became smarter
Yeah.
and they will become richer. I'm trying to give a free hand because I'm not like into micromanagement. It's not me,
Mm.
and it's I wouldn't say it's very easy to find people that you can like completely trusting, freehand, and it will be like, it will worthwhile. Sometimes you fail. This is the price of trying. What can I say?
Yeah. When you think about your leadership style and the lessons you've learned in the past and all the things that you have on your plate right now, what is a tough question you've had to ask yourself recently?
In the management field, you mean?
Yeah, or whatever comes to mind for you. Yeah.
How to motivate people better and
Mm.
how to pick people better.
Okay.
Uh, how to pick people better, I would say this. Now, recruiting people,
Yeah.
and it's tough. I would say it's like a lottery. It's 50-50. Now, it's like really like Russian roulette. You take people who seems like perfect, and then like after a couple of months, you discover it's not. And you take people, not usually, but it's happened for me a few times, just because like you need somebody right now, and
Sure.
you compromise, and
Yeah.
then it become like a gel. Like he's really like a perfect candidate, and you like, and you just well, look, to be honest, you were just tired in recruiting because like interviewing for hundreds of people.
Yeah, of
Sometimes
course.
you say, okay, like let's give it a chance without maybe,
Yeah.
and then become very, very good. And sometimes you invest so much money and so much tests and the review, and then it doesn't work, and it's always make you sad
Yeah.
because like once again you need to get this cycle and to find, because not an easy thing.
Yeah, I think that's a consistent thread we've heard in some of these conversations on the show, and I think it's challenging because people put their best foot forward when they're applying for a job, right? And if you have a time crunch on the other side as the company, if those two things meet and they give you, I think maybe with some of these tools and maybe some personality tests or something like that, we can get a better match for you. But I think what would you say overall has been your lessons? Is it just to hire slower or just take your time with the process?
I heard from somebody who is, I guess, smarter than me. Okay, hire slow,
Fire fast.
fire fast. I do think this is the thing, because every time I gave a second chance, it will work for me.
Hmm.
So yeah, hire slow, fire fast. I would say this good thing.
Yeah.
I'm into second chances, but as I told you, it's backfire for me a lot.
Especially if, what we've talked about is the pace at which your company is innovating and growing. It feels like the people that you need to bring on your team need to be moving at the pace that you think and the way your mind works. I'm sure you've got ideas that you want to implement and put into place. And it feels like people need to hit the ground running if they're going to succeed in your environment.
It's definitely so. And just one another thing about recruiting, sometimes you're just lucky. Okay, I got some of my best people
Yeah.
just because of luck. Okay,
Yeah.
nothing more. It's not like I could read their mind or can understand their characters. There were some people who like super smart and psychology, and you can see somebody understand a character.
Yeah.
I'm not. Okay. I'm just trying a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes just freaking luck.
Yeah.
Okay,
That
you
makes sense.
cannot look luck. You can say it in different words. Let's say for a salesman, luck, he can create his luck. Why?
Yeah.
He's a lot on the ground with people. He's talking a lot. He's very good in networking, or not very good, but at least he's networking a lot. And then
Yeah.
he creates his luck as if he creates his luck because he has a lot of connection, that he sells.
Yeah.
I'm gift. Same with me. Like I failed a lot, so sometimes I get lucky. So maybe I not get lucky just because maybe apparently I'm learning from my mistakes. Who knows?
No, I think that's it, really. I mean, it's really just a function of learning from your mistakes. And it sounds like you're definitely, you're very self-aware because you've mentioned how you've made mistakes in the past. And I think, are there mentors or people that you've worked with in the past
I
who've
did.
been inspirational?
I did. First of all, I had a mentor which was very helpful, and not to sound, but forgot the nice word, but let's call it kissing an S.
Yeah.
But I would say my chairman is one of my mentors,
Okay.
and I learn a lot from him. I'm still learning. Uh, yeah, mentorship, it's very important, even for me. Look, I'm already like a co-founder and CEO, and had a lot of things under my belt. but I'm still into learning. And yes, mentorship is very helpful as long as a good mentor. I
Yeah.
didn't have bad mentors. Okay.
Yeah.
I had a couple, and both of them were very crucial in what I do. And most of the thing, but okay, I spend a lot of time with him, with my chairman, but I got a lot of mentorship with him, and he was my co-founder. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And I think I've heard people say you also learn from the bad ones as well. It's in terms of like, if you don't get good guidance, it's almost like what not to do as far in terms of what you learned from the good ones.
Also, yes.
So
And maybe from bad experience, you even learn sometimes more than from a good experience.
that's
Like
true.
you learn much more for when you lose than when you win. Because when you
Yeah.
lose, you can analyze and understand why you lost. When you win, you
Yeah.
know if I'm smart or I'm lucky or
Or
whatever,
lucky.
it's timing or placing.
Yeah.
You usually don't know why you won, but
Yeah.
you mostly know why you lost.
I don't think enough people do enough analysis of why they're winning. They're just happy to be winning. So speaking of winning and looking forward, so let's say we're having this conversation a year from now. What would success look like for Grow Director?
Well, I would like to be more involved into agriculture in North America and Europe. I would like to help more of a grower. I would like to have more growers in our company, and my product will give them more enjoyment and will be much helpful. The more clients that we have, the more our AI actually becomes smarter. So it's
Hmm.
also work for me. Yeah, we
Yeah.
analyze a lot of data. Also, all the data of the growers is their own. It's proprietary data. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we just use for the set points, but it becomes smarter and smarter. But I would like a deeper penetration to North America and Europe, working with more distributors and integrators, greenhouse builders, so we can give a solution for more growers. I do think that our solution is very easy to use, and it's very affordable and super scalable, and it's wireless. And many people are afraid of wireless, but we did create systems that super stable even without internet. And being wireless, it means that it's very easy and not expensive to introduce it to new, of course, but even existing greenhouses.
Yeah.
And this is something lacking in our field. Okay, like if you're talking about greenhouse, let's say 100,000 or let's say 2-3 acres, we're talking about automation. We're talking about let's say 10, 20, $30,000. So we are doing the same for $5,000-$7,000,
Oh,
and I would say with much more input and much more thing that we're actually giving to the growers.
yeah.
So I would like to give our solution to more growers, for their life will be easier. And we're working with our AI. Actually, no, without the job, our AI actually working very hard to make their life easier and to predict things that they couldn't predict before. We prefer to stop the problem before it becomes a problem. So
Hmm.
it's one of our key things that we are doing.
What keeps you motivated?
I would like to eat every day.
That's a good reason. Yeah.
So you need to work hard.
I like to leave some time at the end of these conversations for any guidance you have for this industry, specifically indoor farming, vertical farming, so we can start to work in a more collaborative fashion. And so I'm curious, if any thoughts come to mind for you, like closing thoughts.
For indoor farming, picking your crops very carefully, okay? Because finally, besides the hype, you also need to make money, okay? Picking your location very carefully. These are two main things I would like. Not everything that you can grow, you can sell, and not everything you can sell, you can make money from it. And with all due respect, finally, you need to make money because you need to feed yourself, your family, and sometimes also get money to your investors. So be very picky about what you do, okay? And time is on your side. As we discussed, like in a couple of years, things are going to be extremely different. For now, they are tough. So try to survive until times become better.
That's definitely good advice. Well, Dima, thank you so much. I'm glad we got to connect in person at ICON, and you're going to connect with my partner, Sepper, at Green Tech. So I'm looking forward to hearing how those conversations went. Sounds like you've been making a lot of information. Like you said, you're already on the fourth generation of the product. And I think at the end of the day, coming from your experience and what you've learned over the years, this mission of making lives easier for growers, I think is very admirable because as we all know, they have a lot on their plate and they're struggling to keep up with the demands of like, understanding tech, understanding when to implement it. And I think everything that you're doing is helping make their jobs much easier. So it's one less thing to worry about. So congrats on everything you've accomplished so far.
Very much appreciate the kind words. I didn't expect, but it's very nice to hear this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we'll look forward to staying in contact and I'll keep you updated. But I appreciate your time. Where's the best place for folks to connect with you? I know they can go to growdirector.com.
They can go to GrowDirector, grow like growing director, like director.com.
Yep.
They can write me an email. It's Dima, D-I-M-A, at growdirector.com. We have a WhatsApp on our website. It's also coming to me in these messages. So you can write me on our website, write me an email, go to our website, growdirector.com. We would helpful. We're also giving free the consultation with our professional agronomists. So we have like agronomic questions, come to us. And you can use free of charge our AI agronome. Okay, to download an app, go to a section and go to AI agronomist, and you can use our advice for free. We hope this will help people.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll make sure all those links are in the show notes. Thanks again for your time, Dima.
Harry, thank you very much. It was a pleasure.